Hi, everyone. This is Angie Jackson. I'm a talent acquisition lead here in Western Canada. And today I'm here with Ryan Stile, who is the Director of Consulting Services, and he's joining us from Calgary. Hey there, Ryan. How are you today?
Hey, Angie. Great to be here.
Good. I'm glad to have you with us. So, as a leader, Ryan, tell me in CGI's ERP space here in Western Canada, tell me about the evolution of your career.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I guess we can start with how I got into the business. I mean, I really began my career actually in field services. I was one of those guys you see in pictures standing on a drilling rig in the middle of Alberta and minus 50. And I'll tell you, minus 50 really gets you going and makes you think, hey, I should become an accountant. So that's what I did. But working through that process to become an accountant, I actually had the opportunity to lead an ERP implementation for Epicor in the late 90s. And pretty early on, I found myself assuming the role of control of our internal systems and procedures. And I realized that I really truly enjoyed using technology to adapt a lot of our processes. They were super manual at that time. And so whether it was weekly and monthly reporting or just getting information from field services, there was just a ton of opportunity to make it better and to make people's work experience better. So in about 2000, early 2000s, I started to explore the different technologies. Some of them are emerging tech, and I found Microsoft Business Solutions and some other solutions out there. But my first role in technology was with a small Edmonton systems integrator, and I worked as a sales executive for a little product called Navision. And I was the first employee focused on ERP, but long story short, I became the president of that organization in a few years, and we grew one of the largest Navision practices in Canada.
Oh, what an impressive career to that point.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you came to CGI.
Yeah, so I guess that's how my career evolved a little bit. I mean, we sold that organization to a large accounting firm, and my role tended to evolve over the years to include multiple organizations and multiple technologies. Microsoft, SAP, Deltek, Acumatica, a lot of the ERPs our listeners have heard of. And I've trained across all of those on CRM and analytics, but I've been primarily focused in that Microsoft stack. And so certification in Prince 2 and management consulting, but I came to CGI to be a director of consulting services in the Western Business Unit in BC, and really to focus on the development of our Microsoft D365 practice, supporting projects across North America, really. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that for a long time. So
Great. Awesome. So where is your career headed, Ryan?
That's a great question. Where is my career headed? I think our careers it'll continue to develop in the dynamic space. I think ERP and CRM, they continue to blend, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But it's certainly continued down the path of supporting the adoption of technology in various industries, various businesses across North America.
Great direction. So tell me, how has ERP changed business for our clients? What was the origin of ERP? Tell us a little bit about what the future of ERP really looks like from your perspective.
Yeah, I think we need to look at the history of ERP, I guess, first. I mean, it really dates back to the 1960s, originated from the inventory management and control processes that were being developed then. And it continues to focus on the coordination and integration of the platform for enterprise-wide applications. So a lot of people would be familiar with MRP or MRP2, that evolution of materials and manufacturing resource planning. And it goes beyond that. And I think in the 90s, Gardner Group first used the term ERP. And of course, it continues to evolve from there. ERP2 became popular in 2000s, and it was associated with really that service-oriented architecture. So bringing those integration components to the table. And it's going beyond the initial functions of product planning, purchasing, inventory control. Like I alluded to, it's really expanding to encompass the processes and the controls across the organization: marketing, finance, accounting, HR, and so on.
So tell us about the future of ERP. What does that look like?
Yeah. So where is it headed? That's always the big question, right? So integration, flexibility, enablement. So those are some of the key words we'll hear. And I think that is it though. I mean, really, how can the system enable an organization to be more efficient, to be more agile? We look at some of the past challenges that people have had. In some places, ERP is a bit of a dirty word, right? And it's because people were deterred or maybe frustrated because the cost or the lack of flexibility it created. And earlier solutions were maybe not as refined, maybe a little more expensive, high upfront investment, right? And often required a lot of customization because people are trying to meet the way it works and vice versa. And it just didn't offer an ideal path for integration of all the tools that were being used. And it really wasn't quite designed to scale with the organization as it grew. And I think that's the big one. Over the last 10 years or so, there's been quite a few elements that have come together to support that further evolution of ERP, specifically the cloud environment, for one. I think there's multiple products and industry specific offerings now that have been able to reduce a lot of the risk and the time to implement and the complexity to really improve the opportunity to integrate multiple technologies the way that we're actually doing things. And I guess a few factors of that really would be the balance, the flexibility, and sort of that innovation. And balance being, I think that's a big one. I mean, it's getting that right level of simplicity and functionality. So it's not just having features. It's not just saying, hey, we can do X, but it's how do we enable people to use that, right? And how is it accessible? And then from a flexibility perspective, how can we adapt it a little bit? Organizations really want software that'll grow and scale with them, both up and down. Business is changing constantly. And of course, when we look at mobile accessibility, that was been a big one in the last couple of years with the giant shift. And I think it's vital and a prime opportunity for a lot of organizations to really get users away from their desks a little bit, enable them to access the information anywhere, like anytime. And I guess it all speaks to the last point, which is that innovation. In the case of cloud, when we look at that, it's virtual updates as an example. It's easier than ever to get new features, to get new functionality without impeding your daily use, right? I think it feeds that flexibility and focuses on the user, how they're using the system. I mean, a lot of the people listening to this will be driving cars that remotely update with software that changes the performance or changes their experience, right? And it's the exact same methodology. And the fact is, it's expected by users at this stage.
Right.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Really fascinating stuff, Ryan. So, how do you engage with clients to support CGI's growth in this domain? What exactly do you do for our clients?
Right. Yeah, so my focus, as I say, is to work with our customers within the Microsoft D365 platform, right? And D365 is a portfolio of business applications, really, that empower the organization to kind of move from the reactive to a predictive environment. And it really promotes that whole automation of their processes to increase that efficiency. And it was really born, if we look back, from 4 ERP products and CRM, but the 4 products being Exapta or Solomon or Great Plains and Navision. Those products all came together with the Microsoft CRM solution, and they built that all in the Microsoft stack. So it creates an intelligent and sort of proactive solution that allows us to connect that digital and physical world to really help them derive those insights and get those business challenges coordinated. I think through that platform, I mean, I get to work with organizations to integrate their technology and focus on driving that efficiency and that create that opportunity for them to excel competitively and really give them the opportunity to scale. I keep talking about scale, that being able to move with them and flex and really to enable them to evolve.
Yeah, fascinating work. So, with all of you mentioned a number of different organizations, it's all kind of come together to support the Microsoft stack at this point. Tell me, what differentiates CGI from our competitors in this space?
Yeah, I think simply that CGI is just one of the few firms with the scale and the reach and the capabilities to really meet our clients' digital transformation needs. You know, we have those end-to-end IT business consulting services through a client proximity business model. It means we're in the areas where our clients are. It really differentiates us. We're working side by side in the communities, and it draws on our global capabilities to really help us identify, develop, and implement a lot of those strategies and solutions that really work for the end clients, that really support the citizen expectations. And I think another advantage is that our processes are underpinned by a really strong methodology. It's something we call our client partner management framework. And it's a methodology, I won't go into details, but it outlines our commitment to really align with our customers across the organization. And it's just been proven in not a few instances, but thousands of engagements year after year, and just a winning strategy. I think beyond that, further to our scale, our global footprint includes more than 400 offices, 80,000 members, 40 countries. We're in the community. Well, we have the size and scale, but we're locally based, and it just provides that focused expertise across industry, but regional. And, to the point, we have more than 170 IP-based solutions, and a lot of those in Microsoft Dynamics, which I'm happy about. And I guess with that as well, I should speak to our Microsoft partnership, because I think that's certainly a differentiator. We share a common vision with Microsoft of innovation, and we're a globally managed services partner, a gold partner for 18 competencies. We offer one of the largest suites of Microsoft services in the market, with 8,000 people, 8,000 professionals that specialize in Microsoft solutions and services. It really allows us to offer that in-depth knowledge and experience in implementation, and to really create that environment to support their stack of Microsoft technologies, as an example.
Right. Indeed. Indeed. You mentioned earlier members around the world, across the country.
Yeah.
As a director of consulting services, you have CGI members reporting into you, and you work with them on a regular basis. How do you keep those members engaged and continuing to grow their career in CGI?
Yeah, I think for many people, meaningful work is directly correlated to opportunities for autonomy and work complexity. And there's that direct connection between effort and reward. So technology is continually evolving and updating, and we've been talking about that. And that gives our members that opportunity to learn and train and grow, and really continually to expand their skill. There's always something new, right? And so often the expectation may be in this type of role in ERP, that it's maybe limited to the technical function, that it's only transactional, or that maybe it requires just simple installation or setup of the software. The reality is that the requirements are far beyond that. I think the implementation requires an extensive understanding of business process, change management, financial and fiscal responsibility, to really be a technology thought leader, to guide that organization through the tech solution for their business process, and really think out in 2-3 years how they're going to be working differently. It's not how to enable them to work differently now, it's how can we enable them now to work better in the future and set that stage. And the projects I've worked on have been extremely diverse and very complex, and they covered various technologies, multiple industries, whether it's government or nonprofit, logistics, so on, cross-industry, cross-platform challenges. Those breed some incredible opportunities to be part of the process, guiding those organizations and helping them adopt that technology, helping them develop processes that allow them to be more successful. And I think our employees have had the opportunity to remove a lot of the barriers and the repetitive work that's being done, and pave the way for a more flexible environment for others, to make it a better work environment for people. I think a lot of my team has said, they're motivated by being able to help others have a more enjoyable environment, and to not wake up every day dreading logging into their system, right? And I think when we look at opportunities within CGI, beyond everything else, everyone likes to learn. Everyone, as I said, people are motivated by some challenges, and we just have this incredible opportunity for growth and development. Our training is readily accessible across every technology platform I've ever looked for and beyond. And I think beyond traditional training, I know in our teams, we have vendor days where we have technology partners come in and present how they work, how they're working with clients across varying industries. So it's really a cross-industry, cross-platform look at development. And as a director at CGI, I've had an incredible opportunity to have a flexible work environment and work with just a team of professionals in the industry. Well, I get to focus on my personal growth, goals, and development. And I just think that's an opportunity for everybody here.
Indeed, indeed, and that's what a lot of our members tell us from the experience of working in various engagements like that. So, right on for sure. So, Ryan, what do you love about being a member of CGI?
Yeah, I guess similar to above, I just genuinely love being part of an organization that offers the latest tools and expertise to support the success and growth of teams around the world. I'll explain that further. That it really gives me the opportunity to be part of something a little bigger that makes a difference, but still gives me the flexibility to be creative and a bit of freedom to experiment. There's just a lot of variety in the work, and I've alluded to that a bit here today. And with that, some challenges and some continued opportunities for growth, but more so being part of a team that really can successfully implement technology. Success is the key word there, that directly improves the lives of people. I freeing those people to do the work where they can add value, where they can get enjoyment from it, where they can be successful. That's incredibly motivating for me. And I guess the last part is the paycheck doesn't hurt either, right? So.
Indeed,
Yeah.
it's a good point. That competitiveness of our compensation package definitely should be something of note. So, what advice would you have, Ryan, for someone who's considering either career in ERP or even considering joining CGI as their next employer?
Yeah, I think it's getting involved. I often hear ERP and the tech stack around it being referred to as the heart or the backbone of an organization, and sometimes people are on the periphery. I think it often functions as that central point of truth, or it's the process used by companies to really manage the integration of critical components in their business, right? So I'd suggest that certainly the technical skills are critical, but just as critical it'd be prudent to develop expertise and understanding of standard business process, of financials, change management, accounting, and to really work towards being that thought leader in technology of how we can help organizations integrate all these components of the way they operate with the technology that really helps them bolster their competitive stance. And ERP experts, they come from a variety of backgrounds. I didn't start in technology myself, as I mentioned, and some of you might have picked up on that at the beginning. I mean, this opportunity offers just an incredible variety and I guess an ability to combine interests in technology and business and so on. I think the key is for most to just don't get overwhelmed. Don't be afraid to ask questions. People always say ask questions, right? But in this industry, it's really interesting. I find that everyone I interact with, they're not just open to answering questions. They're ready and actively waiting for the opportunity to help. So I'd say engage in the industry, join those discussion boards, participate in the community wherever you can, and just get involved.
Yeah, make those connections. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you. This has been a wealth of information for our candidates and for me as well. I really appreciate you taking the time to have this discussion with us today. Ryan and I are both going to be in the booth, so you can reach out to both of us and ask any questions that may not have been answered in this session, and we'll be really happy to talk you along through that. So Ryan, again, thanks very much, and I hope it's not too cold in Calgary for the rest of the day with you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.